Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 12th of January 2024. So, something that's been troubling us in the freedom movement for at least a year, probably more, is this upcoming amendments to the WHO sort of Lurgy Treaty. What they want to do, as I'm sure you're aware, is to extend their powers to a draconian degree. So if they declare a lurgy and a serious one, and to the state where we're looking at lockdowns and that sort of thing again, they're going to be the ones calling all the shots. They're not going to just be advising governments. They are basically going to be a world government. They're going to be the ones saying, right, everybody's got to muzzle up again, everybody's got to lock down again, and individual governments won't be able to do a single thing about it. In fact, it will be good for them because they can turn around to the likes of us and say, sorry, our hands are tied. What the WHO say goes, and we can't do anything. So it's something that we need to fight against hard. And I know many people in the freedom movement have been doing so very commendably. So that's great. Now, there's a very important date coming up regarding this whole thing, which is January the 27th. So we're talking, 15 days time. And a lot of people think this deadline is bad news, but in actual fact, it is good news. Now, sort of bear with me, I'll explain why in a minute. But we see these deadlines. This has got to happen by this date and that's got to happen by that date. Otherwise, it's going to be bad news. But sometimes these deadlines are actually good news. And the reason why is the WHO have got I think they just call it a working group or a working committee. And they've got to sort of go out and create these amendments that they want to get through, that's going to give them all of these draconian powers. They've got to present them, and then they've also got to get all the countries to agree to them. And as we know, they've been failing in that. There's quite a few countries who have rejected it. I think Iran is one of them. New Zealand, I believe, is another one. And also somewhere like, I think it's Estonia. I'm not sure on that one. Sounds right. It's somewhere in that kind of region anyway. And a few other countries as well have rejected what the sort of WHO amendments are proposing. And so they are failing. I think this working group from that organisation have actually said we are going to fail in this. And the thing is, if they don't get all of these agreements and get everybody to agree by January the 27th, then they can't actually sort of push through the amendments at this year's General Assembly, the WHO General Assembly, which happens towards the end of May. And any kind of proposals need to have sort of 4 months notice before that. Otherwise, they just can't be considered at the General Assembly. That's their rules. That's the WHO's own rules, not sort of anyone else's rules. So if they kind of break those rules, then it's going to look very bad on them because they're breaking their own rules. So just to clarify that, if they don't get these proposals agreed on by the 27th of January, in 15 days' time, they then can't basically enact their treaty amendments as they want to this year, in May of this year. They can do it again in 2025 if they want. So if we get this over the line on the 27th of January, we'll sort of thwart them for a year. But often when things have to be postponed like this, they end up being shelved for good, because they just sort of think, well, this is too much like hard work, we'll try something else and maybe come back to this in 5 years or 10 years time or whatever. So this is going to be something that we need to keep an eye on and need to keep track of. And basically what the WHO are going to try and do, first of all, they're not going to make this rule where they need to get everything in place by the 27th of January. They're certainly not going to make it public. They're still going to carry on trying to do their negotiations. They're going to still try and get things through on this year's General Assembly in May. But the more people who know about this, their own rules, and call them out on it, the less likely they're going to be to sort of carry out this sleight of hand and sort of try something on at this year's General Assembly, you see. So that's the importance of it. So there's a guy called James Roguski. Probably butchered his names there. I think that's more or less what it is. He's got a video which explains this in more detail, in a far better fashion than my sort of fumbled efforts here. But I'm going to leave a link to that in the description box below here. It is a video on this platform, so you can watch it with ease. And he's basically saying, albeit in a better way, what I've just said here. We just need to get to January the 27th. It's almost certain we will. And once we've done that, we just need to keep the pressure on. We need to share, whether it's my video or his video or both, and just get as many people aware of this thing as possible. And then that will collectively make the WHO's position really, really difficult, will make it impossible for them to get this thing through in 2024. And if they're forced to postpone for at least a year, well then hopefully that gives us more time to hopefully get more countries on board for sort of rejecting the thing. And then I think the thing will be unlikely to come to fruition in future years as well. So that is the position on this. January the 27th, this deadline coming up, could be really, really good news. So take a look at James' video. Like I say, it's in the description box below. And share it far and wide. So I think that is something to be very pleased about. I did actually try and share a video with James on my newsletter on Sunday. Now, the link I gave on that, I think you had to be a member of a particular sort of thing to be able to watch it. I wasn't aware of that. I thought sharing the link just to that one video, everybody could watch it. But when I tried looking at it on another device, it seemed to be saying sign into this, which obviously you could only do if you're a member. So if you saw that and you couldn't sign into that, apologies. But although it's a different guy interviewing James Roguski, he's basically saying the same thing in the link I've just given you under this video. So apologies for that, but at least you can see it now. Basically, just to change subjects, as you know, if you've watched my last video, I went for a really good cycle ride a couple of days ago. When I was coming back, I just had another sort of 5 miles back from the local station back to here. So a much lighter day yesterday, just 5 miles, but I did do some video, and I got some gorgeous shots of the English countryside in brilliant sort of winter sunshine, sort of quite spectacular. So gonna be putting that video on here a couple of hours after this one comes out, probably about 7 or 8. p.m. tonight, so which would be Friday night. So if you're watching after that, that'll be on here as well. So it's just one of my little travelogue things where I'm just not saying anything about what I normally talk about. I'm just talking about and enjoying a cycle ride and sharing some thoughts with you. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, do check that video out as well. It's important to get our minds off of this at least some of the time, this kind of thing, and get refreshed and then come back to it harder than ever. So gonna leave you with that. Do check out James's video in the description box below here. It's probably one of the most important videos I've ever shared, actually. So I'll let you go and do that, and I'll be back soon. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.